Hey everyone, welcome to Homeschool. Hope everybody are doing good. And I'm with the class 11 chemistry, the chapter hydrocarbons. We have already completed preparations of alkenes in my previous video. Video links are provided in the description. You can watch it if you have not yet watched. And coming to today's video, I'm going to explain you everything about chemical properties of alkenes. Chemical properties of alkene is one of the most important topic of organic chemistry of both class 11 and class 12, because here you are going to learn many basic things and very important reaction which you will come across in rest of the organic chapters. Right? So don't forget to watch the video till the end, because I'm going to cover every single aspect of alkene reactions in a detailed way and in the easiest way along with the mechanisms. So don't forget to post your opinion about the video after watching this. Fine. Let me quickly go for the chemical properties. Chemical properties in the sense, we all know it is the chemical reactions of alkene. So how actually alkene undergoes reactions when it reacts with other substances, right? So they are called as chemical reaction. See, first type of chemical reactions that we study with alkenes is addition reactions. Okay. So addition reactions are very common. It is because alkenes have, double bonds, isn't it? Since double bonds are there in alkene, addition reactions are very common. So we are going to learn the first addition reaction, that is addition of hydrogen. Okay, so we learn addition of hydrogen, then we will try to add halogen atoms. Okay, so the next reaction that you study under this is addition of halogens. And not only that, you will also study addition of hydrogen halides. This is very important reaction that you have to concentrate, addition of hydrogen halides. And next you will study addition of water. Just like hydrogen halides, you can add water to alkene. Not only that, you will also study addition of sulfuric acid. Okay, so these are the different addition type reactions that you will study with alkene. Clear? And later, another common reactions of alkene is oxidation reaction. Okay, so here you will study reaction with KMnO4, cold and dilute KMnO4 reaction, and reaction of alkene with hot and concentrated KMnO4. Okay, so both reactions are really very important. And later, the most important concept, that is ozonolysis. So you will also study about ozonolysis here, right? Okay, so and not only this, there is a special reaction with alkene possible, that is polymerization. Okay, so this is another reaction we are going to study, right? So let's discuss each and every reaction in a detailed way. So first and foremost, let me go for addition of hydrogen. So this is very simple reaction, guys. Any alkene, whenever you add hydrogen, you will get alkane. Okay, unsaturated compounds become saturated hydrocarbons. So it's very simple reaction, and for this reaction catalyst is very necessary. So we frequently use nickel as a catalyst, and this reaction takes place at very high temperatures. Okay, so this is like a common reaction. So if you want an example, you can write any example here. Let me take ethene here. Okay, and I'm adding hydrogen in presence of nickel. Not only nickel, you can also use palladium, you can use rhodium, platinum catalyst also instead of nickel. So commonly we take nickel as a catalyst. So when you add hydrogen to alkene, what happens? One atom gets added to one carbon, the other atom of hydrogen gets added to another carbon. Double bond becomes single bond. So what is the product you will get? CH3, single bond, CH3. So ethene has become ethane, right? So this is a very general reaction. Everybody knows this. right? So this is what we call addition of hydrogen. Okay, and now let's go for addition of halogens. So from here, it's very, very important. So I am discussing the second reaction, that is addition of halogens. So you can add halogens to carbons having a double bond. So let's look at the reaction. When you take any alkene, right, on adding halogens, halogens are generally represented with the letter X. So here X can be Cl, X can be Br, or X can be iodine, I2. Okay, but with the iodine, addition reactions are very, very rare. Okay, addition reactions are very common for chlorine and bromine, right? So most frequently, we take X as Cl or Br, right? So when you add halogens to alkene in presence of CCl4, you will get vicinal dihalides as the product. Vicinal dihalides. So what do you mean by vicinal dihalides? I told you in my previous video, if halogen atoms are present on adjacent carbon, okay, side to side carbons, then they are called as vicinal dihalides. Okay, so you will understand in a better way with an example. So let me give you an example here. Suppose you have CH2 double bond CH2. I am taking very common alkene, that is ethene. And suppose I add here bromine, right, in presence of CCl4. So just like how you added hydrogen, no? Similarly, bromine gets added. One atom of bromine to one carbon, another atom of bromine to another carbon. This double bond becomes single bond. So what do you get as a product? CH2, 1Br added to one carbon. Double bond becomes single bond, and this is CH2Br. Right? See here, it is actually alkyl halide. That means two carbon chain halogen is attached, and two halogens are attached to adjacent carbons. Adjacent carbons in the sense side to side carbons. So those compounds are generally called as vicinal dihalides. Okay, so this is an example for vicinal dihalide. And if I have to give its IUPAC name, it is nothing but 1,2 dibromoethane. It is called as 1,2 dibromoethane. Okay, and there is one importance for this reaction. Usually bromine is brown color liquid. Okay, so brown colored liquid. So the moment bromine gets added to carbon atoms, brown color of bromine gets discharged. That means, brown color gets vanished. Okay, so that is what we mean by brown color of bromine gets discharged. So that is the reason this reaction can be used as a test for unsaturation. Say if you want to identify whether something is alkene or alkane. So you have two liquids with you. Okay, this is liquid A, this is liquid B, and you want to know which is alkane and which is alkene here. So you can always add bromine, which is a brown color liquid. So in whichever case that brown color disappears, that is your alkene, because that bromine will react if there is double bond. It will not react with alkanes. Bromine do not gets added to alkanes because there is no double bond in an alkane, right? You have double bond in an alkane. So this addition reaction is possible. If reaction is possible, then bromine is no more a bromine. It got added and it got converted into something else. So that brown color do not exist. It disappears, isn't it? So that is what we mean by brown color discharges. So when bromine reacts with alkane, this point is very important. Brown color of bromine gets discharged. So that is the reason there is some difference in the color change, right? So that is the reason this reaction is used as a test for unsaturation. As a test for unsaturation. So this point is very, very important to remember. Okay, so how do you differentiate between alkene and alkane? So you can always give this reaction. If it is a alkene, this reaction do occur. If it is a alkane, this reaction will never occur. Okay, so when this reaction happens, that brown color of bromine gets discharged. That is the reason it is used as a test for unsaturation. So this is one important point that you need to know about this reaction, that is addition of halogen. And now we will go for very, very important type of a reaction, addition of hydrogen halides. Look here, hydrogen halides in the sense acids like HI, HBr and HCl. Okay, so hydrogen iodide, hydrogen bromide and hydrogen chloride. These are generally called as hydrogen halides. Okay, so here actually the reactivity of HI is more. HI can be added very nicely compared to HBr, and HBr can be added very nicely compared to HCl. Okay, so let us see how we can add these things to alkene. Clear? Fine. So let me first teach you addition of these things to symmetrical alkenes. So symmetrical alkenes in the sense, they are symmetrical. That means if you can cut across a double bond, suppose you have CH2 double bond CH2. So I'll cut the molecule wherever double bond is there. If you are getting two equal parts, two same parts, two same type of groups, okay, then it is called as symmetrical alkene. Okay, so exactly wherever double bond is there, if you can cut, if you are getting two equal groups, then it is called symmetrical. Ethene is highly symmetrical alkene. So whenever you add these things to symmetrical alkene, so let me add HBr to this symmetrical alkene. So what is the product you get? See, I add hydrogen to one carbon and Br to another carbon. Okay. So what is the product you get? So this H, this is the positive part and this is a negative part of HBr. Positive part I'll add to one carbon, negative part I'll add to another carbon. So the product that you get is, this fellow will get converted as CH3, double bond becomes single bond, and this gets converted as CH2, bond Br, right? So this is named as 1-bromoethane. You will get 1-bromoethane. Okay. But if I add the other way, so now what I'll do is, say I'll take CH2 double bond CH2 itself and I will add HBr now in a opposite way. That is, this is positive part, negative part. Now positive part I'll add to this carbon, negative part I'll add to that carbon. So what do you get? You will get CH2 Br here. Now this fellow will become CH3. So if I ask you to name this, you will name it as 1-bromoethane, isn't it? So however you add, whatever the way you add HBr to alkene, you will always get 1-bromoethane. Right? So you can add HBr however the way you want for symmetrical alkene. You will get the same product. There is no difference in the product. Okay. But for unsymmetrical alkene, there is a difference. Okay. So this is very, very important. See, now let me take unsymmetrical alkene. Unsymmetrical alkene in the sense, similarly, wherever double bond is there, if I cut there, I'll not get two equal parts. Such alkene is called unsymmetrical alkene. The best example is propene. Observe here, CH3, CH double bond CH2. Say this is the double bond. If I cut here, I'm not getting two equal groups, right? So this side 2 carbon containing group and this side 1 carbon containing group. So this is called unsymmetrical alkene. Fine. So now for this unsymmetrical alkene, I'll add HBr. So in HBr, this is the positive part and this is the negative part. Okay. So if I start numbering this carbon, this gets number 1, this gets number 2, and this gets number 3, right? So initially what I do is, positive part I will add to carbon atom having more number of hydrogen. Okay, you observe here, you have to add this HBr to this unsaturated carbons only, not to this carbon. Okay, so here when I say carbon atom having more number of hydrogen means you should think of the carbon which has got a double bond. Okay, so these are the two carbons which are connected by double bond. So here you will have to check which carbon has more hydrogen and which carbon has less hydrogen. So this carbon 1 has got more hydrogens, 2 hydrogens. So first thing I'll do is H I'll add here and Br minus I'll add to the second carbon. In this case, observe what is the product you will get. You will get CH3 and Br is added to second carbon. So CHBr and double bond became single bond, and for this first carbon I added H plus. So that fellow will become CH3. So if I name this compound, how do I name this? This is 2-bromo-propane, isn't it? 2-bromo-propane I will get. But you observe the other way of addition. Okay, see CH3, CH double bond CH2. For this I will add HBr. So now in this case what I'll do is, this is positive part and this is negative part, right? So here what did I do? Positive part I added to second carbon and positive part I added to first carbon and negative part I added to second carbon, right? So here I will do ulta, opposite. So positive part I will add to second carbon and negative part I will add to first carbon. Okay, so what is the product you will get? This fellow remains as it is, that is CH3. And for second carbon, what am I adding? H, no? So that fellow will become CH2. Double bond becomes single bond. And for this first carbon, I added Br. So this fellow will become CH2Br. So if I try to name this compound, I will get 1-bromopropane. So this is named as 1-bromopropane. So what is your observation here? See, when you added HBr this way, you got 2-bromopropane. But when you added HBr this way, you got 1-bromopropane. 1-bromopropane and 2-bromopropane are entirely different compounds. So you cannot add HBr however you want. Okay, so you know this 2-bromopropane is said to be a major and stable product, whereas this 1-bromopropane is a minor product. Okay, so you should always give your answer as a major product. Whichever product you are getting to a larger extent, no, that one is your product. Okay, so always you should show addition of HBr to unsymmetrical alkene this way. So let me write whatever I have done here. Okay, so what did I do? Among HBr, positive part, this is very, very important, guys. Positive part is added to unsaturated carbon which has more number of hydrogen or less number of hydrogen? More number of hydrogen, right? Which has more number of hydrogens. Okay, whereas negative part is added to unsaturated carbon which has less number of hydrogens. Okay, so this is actually a particular rule which we will call this rule as Markovnikov's rule. So very, very important rule which we always use this rule for writing products in many, many chapters. So you should never ever forget this rule, Markovnikov's rule. Okay, so you know this way of addition is always done for unsymmetrical alkene. You should always add positive part to carbon having more number of hydrogen and negative part to the carbon having less number of hydrogen. So you should concentrate only the carbons which are connected to double bond. So among these carbons you need to select which has got more number of hydrogen and which has got less number of hydrogen. Positive part is always added to carbon having more number of hydrogen. Negative part is always added to carbon having less number of hydrogen. So this rule we will call it as Markovnikov's rule. Okay, so if it was a symmetrical alkene, whatever the way you add to whichever the carbon you add, positive part or negative part, you get the same product. There's no difference. But for the unsymmetrical alkene, you know, addition of HBr or HI or HCl is always followed according to Markovnikov's rule. Okay, so you should not do this kind of addition. You should always do this kind of addition. Hope I am very, very clear for you. If you are clear with the concept, post the comment clear. Say clear and type it in a comment section. Okay, don't forget. So this is really very, very important. If it is a symmetrical alkene, add whatever the way you want. But if it is an unsymmetrical alkene, whenever you add hydrogen halide, you should always follow Markovnikov's rule. That is, positive part is added to carbon having more number of hydrogen and negative part is added to carbon having less number of hydrogen. Okay, so why like this? Why we should follow this Markovnikov's rule? Why not this as a product? Why only this as a product? You know, that's what you will understand if you learn the mechanism. Now we will try to understand the mechanism of Markovnikov's rule here. Okay, fine. So don't forget to post whether you are clear or not in the comment section. Let's understand about mechanism also now. See guys, it's very important to understand about the mechanism. Understand carefully. Initially what happens is HBr that you took for a reaction will ionize. So this bond breaks and you will get H plus ion and Br minus ion. Okay. And now this propene, what is the alkene I took? Propene, right? So that comes into picture. So CH3, CH, double bond, CH2. So for this, H plus is added first. Okay, so both of them will not get added at the same time. One by one ions gets added. Okay, so first H plus ion will try to get added. See, there are two possibilities. Either H plus can add to this carbon or H plus can add to this carbon. Isn't it? Any one of the carbon, that fellow can get added. So now this is carbon 1 and this is carbon 2. Okay, so hope you can make the color differentiation here. If H plus is added to carbon 1, what do you get as an intermediate? Okay, see, with carbon 1, if H plus is making a bond, so this fellow gets converted as CH3, double bond becomes single bond. So this fellow will stay as CH only and here you will get CH3. So there is no balance of valency here, right? So this carbon should have 4 bonds, it has got only 3. So you will observe positive charge on this carbon. So this is what the intermediate you will get. Okay, so we call these guys as carbocations, right? So whenever you have positive charge on carbon, you call them as carbocation. All that we have discussed in our organic chemistry first chapter, right? Okay, so now if H plus is added to second carbon, let's write what will happen. So this CH3 will stay as CH3 only. Now this fellow, for this fellow H plus is added, no? So that fellow will become H2. Double bond will become single bond and that becomes what? CH2, right? So now valency of this carbon is less. So this carbon will get a positive charge. Right? So hope you understood the concept. If H plus is added to first carbon, you will get this carbocation. If H plus is added to second carbon, you will get this carbocation. We call this carbocation as secondary carbocation, right? And we call this carbocation as primary carbocation. So we have studied about the stabilities of carbocations, right? Always secondary carbocation is more stable, guys. So why more stable, how more stable, all that I'm not discussing here because it's already over. If you can refer the video that is mentioned in the description, you will understand all that. Okay, I already mentioned all this in my first chapter, organic chemistry first chapter. Okay, fine. So since this fellow is more stable, it will stay in the reaction more time. And what about this fellow? It will actually die very soon. Okay, so the moment it forms, it gets collapsed. It will stay in the reaction mixture for more time. That's what we mean by stability here. Since this fellow is staying in a reaction for more time, what happened? To this fellow, Br minus will come and attack. Okay, so what do you get? CH3, CH plus CH3 is there. Okay, so this is actually immediately dying. So this is a simple way I'm telling you just to make you understand. So why not stable? The moment I say this is not stable, in the sense this is immediately collapsing. Okay, so this is immediately dying. That way you can understand. This fellow more stable in the sense it is staying in a reaction for some more time. Okay, so it is also not stable, you know, intermediates are not stable. Okay, but compared to this is okay. This is going to stay for some more time, so that, you know, there is a chance for Br minus to come and stay with this carbon. So it will make a bond with this carbon. Okay, so always positive negative bond formation takes place. So that way you actually got CH3, CH, Br attached to second carbon and CH3, right? So this product and this product is same, right? So that is how you will actually get, 2-bromopropane. So in short, instead of guessing the whole mechanism, simple way to remember is positive part is always added to carbon having more number of hydrogen, and negative part is always added to carbon having less number of hydrogen. So this is the shortest way of remembering how to write a product. Okay, so they'll ask you to predict the product. They'll give you this, some alkene, unsymmetrical alkene, and they'll give you HBr or HCl or HI, and they'll ask you what product you will get. You should always write the product as according to Markovnikov's rule only. Okay, so why you get this as a product? There is a proof. This is how the mechanism is going to take place. Okay, so this is all about addition of HBr to unsymmetrical alkene. But wait, there is a slight change. In case if you use peroxide here, okay, reaction is going to become ulta. Okay, so let's understand that peroxide effect now. Okay, so far you have seen how we can apply Markovnikov's rule, right? But now try to understand peroxide effect here. Peroxide effect. Okay, so let me erase this so that I can explain peroxide effect. Fine. So what is peroxide effect? Very simple. So whenever you take unsymmetrical alkene, CH double bond CH2, and I'll try to add HBr, but in presence of some peroxides. Okay, so it can be a hydrogen peroxide. Peroxide in the sense, in their structure, O atoms are linked something like this. Okay, so the best example is hydrogen peroxide. So in presence of peroxide, you know, the product is always opposite to Markovnikov's product. Actually, so here this product, whatever you are getting is called Markovnikov's product, right? Because according to Markovnikov's rule, reaction is taking place. But what was Markovnikov's rule? Positive part is added to carbon having more number of hydrogen. Negative part is added to carbon having less number of hydrogen, right? So opposite, exactly opposite to that. That means positive part is added to carbon having less number of hydrogen. Negative part is added to carbon having more number of hydrogen. So what is the product you will get here? CH3, CH2, CH2Br, that is 1-bromo-propane is the major product you will get. Okay, so this is what we call peroxide effect. Peroxide effect, or we can also call this as Karash effect. Karash effect. Okay, or we can also call it as anti-Markovnikov's rule. Anti-Markovnikov's rule. Okay, so definition just exactly opposite to Markovnikov's rule, that you can write it. So I repeat once again. Positive part is added to unsaturated carbon having less number of hydrogen. Negative part is added to unsaturated carbon having more number of hydrogen. Okay, when this kind of addition takes place, exactly opposite to Markovnikov's, that is always in presence of peroxide. If peroxide was not there, this is what the process, Markovnikov's. If peroxide is there, it is anti-Markovnikov's. And also remember, peroxide effect is applicable. This kind of addition you will only observe for HBr only. So whenever you have HBr only. Okay, so no peroxide effect, no peroxide, this point is very important, no peroxide effect for HCl and HI addition. So in this place, if HCl or HI was there, even in presence of peroxide, Markovnikov's product you will get. In the sense, I will show here. Let me show it here. So this is very critical point that I have written just now. So you should carefully understand that. See, I will have CH3, CH double bond CH2. I will add HCl. Okay, so that is in presence of peroxide. So what will be your product? So usually what is, the moment you say peroxide here, you will think of peroxide effect. I mean, you will try to add positive part to carbon atom having less number of hydrogen and negative part to carbon atom having more number of hydrogen, right? But here, no peroxide effect. No peroxide effect in the sense positive one is added to carbon having more number of hydrogen. Negative one is added to carbon having less number. That is CH3, CH, Cl, CH3. So this is what the correct product. Okay. Say don't ever write this product. So this product is completely wrong. Okay, so this product when do you get? Only if HBr is there. Okay, so only when HBr is there, 1-bromopropane is the product. But if it is HCl or HI, you will always get 2-chloro or 2-iodopropane. Okay, so peroxide effect is applicable only for, HBr addition, not for HCl and HI addition. Why like this? So the reason you will understand with mechanism. So now let us try to understand the mechanism of peroxide effect. Okay, so let me explain you the mechanism now. Okay, so where is fine. So mechanism of peroxide effect. Peroxide effect. Okay, fine. See guys, initially what happens is in presence of this peroxide, Br free radicals are formed. So this is the first step. I'm not showing how Br free radicals are formed. Actually, that's not necessary. In presence of peroxide, from HBr only, Br free radicals are formed. Now that Br free radicals gets added first to unsymmetrical alkene. Okay, so here if I take Br free radical, this Br free radical either it can get added to first carbon or this Br free radical it can get added to second carbon. So if that is getting added to first carbon, what do you get? CH3, CH, and here you will get a single bond CH2Br. So you get a free radical, you get a single electron on this carbon. Okay, so if Br free radical is added to second carbon, you will get CH3, CHBr, and you get free radical on the first carbon. Okay, so now this is secondary free radical. This is primary free radical. So secondary free radical is actually more stable. So among the free radicals also, what is that? Tertiary is more stable than secondary. Secondary is more stable than primary. All that I explained in my first chapter videos. Okay, since this is more stable, in the next step what happens is CH3, CH free radical is there, CH2 and Br. So that will again react with one more molecule of HBr. So here this H is there, no? So this H will try to react. Again here this HBr, whatever is there, this HBr undergoes homolysis. After undergoing homolysis, you will get H free radical and Br free radical. So that H free radical is attacking this carbon. Okay, so that you will get CH3, CH2, CH2, Br. Okay, so that's how you are getting 1-bromopropane. Okay, so this is how the reaction takes place. Clear? So there is slight difference between the previous mechanism and this mechanism, right? Okay. So why I told there is no peroxide effect for HCl? For HCl it will not work out because, you know, to form Br free radical, initially, you know, HBr bond should break, you know, homolytically. I mean, it should break in such a way that one electron of the bond moves to H and another electron of the bond should move to Br. Okay, so this bond must break easily homolytically. Whereas HCl is it will have quite strong bond. Okay, strong bond it will have, so that Cl free radicals are not formed. Cl free radicals are not formed. When Cl free radicals are not formed, further reaction cannot occur, right? So that's why peroxide effect you will not see for HCl. And whereas with HI also you will not observe peroxide effect because here the bond is very weak, I free radicals are formed. But I free radical may react with another I free radical to give I2. Usually these free radicals must react this way, right? Like how bromine free radical attacked. That way intermediate secondary free radical must form. Again in the next step another HBr must undergo homolytic cleavage. It should form H free radical and then it should attack this. Finally you will get that product. But here I free radical, instead of going for a reaction, they themselves combine and you get I2 molecule. So that's why with HI also there is no peroxide effect. HCl also no peroxide effect. Reasons are also important. What is the problem with HCl? HCl, that H bond Cl, that bond is very strong. It will not break and you don't observe the formation of Cl free radical. Okay. What is the problem with HI? I free radicals combine themselves to become I2 instead of going for a reaction. So this is what we will call it as peroxide effect. Okay, so hope the concept has become clear. So this is all about addition of hydrogen halide to unsymmetrical alkene. Now we will go for addition of water. See guys, addition of water to alkene is very simple. You have to add water the way you added HBr and HCl, that is hydrogen halide. That is, you need to follow Markovnikov's rule here also. So here also you need to follow Markovnikov's rule. It's very, very important and very, very important reaction. Fine. So let me take unsymmetrical alkene itself, CH3, CH double bond, CH2. So for this I will add water, right? So whenever you add water, what is the positive part of water? H plus. So negative part of water, OH minus. So if you follow Markovnikov's rule, where do you add H plus? Positive part is always added to carbon having more number of hydrogen. Negative part is always added to carbon having less number of hydrogen, right? So what is the product you will get? CH3. For CH, what you added? OH you added. OH you added. And this fellow, for this carbon you added H. So that fellow has become CH3. So you will actually get alcohols here. So whenever you add water to alkenes, you will always get alcohol. So which is the alcohol that you got here? It is 2-propanol, right? So IUPAC name of this compound is 2-propanol, right? So this is the way you should always add water to alkene. So don't forget, here also you need to follow Markovnikov's rule. H plus is the positive part and OH minus is the negative part. So positive part is always added to carbon having more number of hydrogen. Negative part is always added to carbon having less number of hydrogen. Okay. And if you want to add for symmetrical alkene, you can add however the way you want. Say I'll take simple ethene, and for this if I have to add water, you can add H plus to this carbon, OH minus to this carbon, or H plus to this carbon and OH minus to this carbon. You get the same product in both the cases. Okay, so let me add H plus here, OH here. So what do you get? This fellow gets converted as CH3 if I add H plus. Double bond becomes single bond and this fellow gets converted as CH2OH. So you will get ethanol. This is ethanol. So actually this is one of the very important reaction. Its mechanism also you are going to study. That is in the next year. That is in 12th class alcohols chapter. You are going to study its mechanism. Clear? So this is all about addition of H2O. Now let's understand another type of reaction. It's also a kind of addition only. All these are called electrophilic addition reaction. Electrophilic addition reaction. So what type of addition reactions are they? Electrophilic addition reaction. Addition reactions are of two types: electrophilic addition, nucleophilic addition. So whatever addition reaction we studied in case of alkenes, all of them come under electrophilic addition reaction. So another electrophilic addition reaction that we study is addition of sulfuric acid. Addition of sulfuric acid, guys. So for alkene, let me write the general equation now. For alkene, whenever you add sulfuric acid, okay, cold sulfuric acid, you will get alkyl hydrogen sulfates. Alkyl hydrogen sulfates you will get. Okay, so let's understand this reaction with one example. So let me take unsymmetrical. So even here you are going to follow the Markovnikov's rule itself. Okay, so even in the sulfuric acid, some positive part is there, negative part is there. Positive part is always added to carbon having more number of hydrogen and negative part is added to carbon having less number of hydrogen. So let me take the same alkene here, that is propene. CH3, CH, double bond, CH2. Okay, so now sulfuric acid. See, if you want to understand which is positive part and which is negative part, you should know the structure of sulfuric acid. See, H2SO4 structure. Yes, double bond O, OH, OH. So this is the actual structure of sulfuric acid. So here this bond can be broken. H can come as the positive part and the entire stuff, this entire thing can come as a negative part. So which is a positive part here? H plus is a positive part, and which is a negative part here? I can write negative part as O minus. I'll join these two oxygen. I'll write it as O2 and I'll write this OH separate OH. Okay, so H plus is a positive part. O minus SO2 OH is the negative part. Okay, so for this, whenever I add H2SO4, can you able to write that addition product? So which is the positive part here? H plus is the positive part, and which is the negative part here? I told you there, O minus SO2 OH, right? So where is positive part getting added? Positive part is always added to carbon having more number of hydrogen, and negative parts gets added to carbon having less number of hydrogen, right? So what do you get as a product here? So this CH3 remains as it is, and whereas for this CH, what is added, guys? O minus. So linkage is through O. So O has yes, O to OH, right? So this is that negative part added to second carbon, and double bond became single bond. So this fellow got converted into CH3. Okay, so this is the product you will get. See, what is the type of product you will get? Alkyl hydrogen sulfate. So which is this alkyl group? Propyl, right? So its name is propyl hydrogen sulfate. Okay, propyl hydrogen sulfate. So that is the name of this particular product. So I just told you how you can add for any alkene. If it is unsymmetrical one, follow Marconi-Kos rule. If it is a symmetrical one, you can add positive and negative to any carbon. Okay, so the way you add sulfuric acid is very important. Your positive part is H plus, negative part is O minus, O, SO to OH. So that is the negative part. Okay. So this is all about the different electrophilic addition reactions that you can do for alkenes. So hope video is getting very lengthy, very longer. So I'll stop the video here, and in my next video, I will teach everything about oxidation reactions that you can do for alkenes. That means very important ozonolysis. I'll give a super trick to understand ozonolysis. Okay, so ozonolysis is very important concept that you need to understand here. And not only that, I'll also tell you a short trick how to write product for addition of, the reaction of KMNO4, hot and concentrated KMNO4 with alkene. Along with that, I'll also complete polymerization in my next video. So till then, revise the entire concept, guys. I'll come up with various questions also once I complete the entire chapter. So don't forget to post your opinion in the comment section. So with this, I'll end the session. Meet you all in the next session with ozonolysis and lot many concepts. Okay, thank you so much, and do subscribe our channel to learn the concepts in the easiest way and in a detailed way. See you.